Planet Vero Studio is powered by the Nolan Group of RE/MAX Associated Realty. MyNextHomeFinder.com.
Treasure Coast Connector. Connecting residents and businesses of the Treasure Coast. And here's your host, Ellen Contreras.
Well, welcome to Treasure Coast Connector. I'm your host, Ellen Contreras. My company by the same name is also one of the show's sponsors, and we help business owners with creating awareness of their products and services in the marketplace, to drive traffic, to get customers. And we do this through amazing websites, video production, lead generation campaigns, social media marketing, advertising, PR, and so much more. If you'd like to get the details, visit my website, www.tcconnector.com, or you can call me directly, 772-925-4557. Treasure Coast Connector, the show, puts a spotlight on local business owners because everyone has an interesting story of what got them started. When we learn about these stories and the business owners, working with them directly only strengthens our local economy. Now, if you're thinking about adopting a puppy or an adult dog and you want to start off on the right foot or paw, and you want a seamless transition, getting the help of a trained expert is a great idea. And if you have a dog that maybe has some behavioral issues, then you're going to want to stay tuned to this episode, because joining me in the studio today is Gerry-Anna Jones. She is the owner of Goldstar Puppy Academy. She is a certified professional dog trainer. She is here with her dog, her fur baby, Zeppelin. She has a lot of great information to share. So welcome to the show.
Hello. Yeah. Thank you for having me.
Yeah. And hi, Zeppelin. We have a camera on you also. You're going to be famous. Yes. So
He's
that people
thrilled.
can, see him on live stream, Vimeo live stream, Facebook. It's going to be shared everywhere.
Awesome.
So, but what I'd like to know about you and what everybody else wants to know is what got you started to want to be a dog trainer and help people?
Thank you for having us.
Mm-hmm.
So I started like a lot of animal professionals start. I volunteered just about everywhere I could that would take me to work with.
Nice.
Yes,
Yeah.
Variety of animals, from parrot rescue. I interned at the zoo, animal shelters, even wildlife rehab.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. So during my journey there, I realized that there is a great miscommunication a lot of times between people and animals, especially in the companion animal world. So I started Goldstar Puppy Academy with the intent of helping ideally build that relationship and communication from the beginning so that these animals are more likely to keep their home in the long run.
Very nice. Yeah. Because there's nothing more heartbreaking than the dog is returned back to the shelter, or if they were purchased from, a breeder, but then they're brought to a shelter. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's really, really sad. So very nice. So you're like I'm going to call you the puppy whisperer. Yeah. So I'm referring to my notes because we have a whopper of a second question for you. It's like multiple parts, but so the first thing is that before somebody even goes to a breeder or to a shelter, right? Before that knee-jerk reaction of, I want to get a puppy for the kids or whatever, what are some of the things that people should consider before they even go and look at dogs? What would you say to them?
It's a great question, and big answers,
Yes.
Of course. I'm going to try to narrow it down for you.
Yeah.
So if you're thinking about adding a pet to your home, and right now there's almost like a social pressure because I feel like everybody on your Facebook feed got a puppy in the last year, right?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
But you really need to think about truly your lifestyle and really how much time you have. Bringing a puppy in especially is kind of like adding on an infant or maybe even a toddler at a certain point in their age.
Oh, yeah.
So it takes a lot of time. If you work a 9 to 5, 5 days a week, you're going to have to think ahead about having somebody come in and take the puppy out, making sure the whole family is on board. If you have kids, sometimes it's helpful when they're a little older and you can really enlist their help, but don't count on it, of course.
Yeah.
So you want to think about just the time you have. And that's where sometimes an adult dog can be a good fit.
I was going to ask you about that. Yeah, because sometimes people look past the adult dogs, but I've seen a lot of videos on YouTube about people saying how much their lives have been enriched by adopting either an older or a senior dog.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm a fan. I'm a trainer, but I usually adopt adult dogs.
Okay.
I feel like you have a little better of a picture of what you're getting. If you do have some special needs, you have another dog in the house, you want to see if they like the other dog too.
Yeah.
Instead of giving them a roommate they didn't sign up for. So one other thing I would really think about is the best matches that I've seen, even when I worked in the shelter, were people who came in and they kind of had a bullet list in their head about what personality traits they were looking for.
Very good, yeah.
And even like energy level. And they weren't swayed by walking through the kennel and seeing a dog that just was a tiny little perfect looking Yorkie or something. Yeah. I'm just making up a breed. Right. But if you have more personality forward rather than looks, you're more likely to get a better match, even in the case of getting a dog from a breeder. So most reputable breeders are going to interview you and try to know your lifestyle and needs to match you with a puppy. But if you're super set on getting that certain color of dog or whatever it is, you might get that little puppy you imagine, but the other one would have been a better fit. Maybe you wanted the apricot color, but the white one would have been the personality fit. Yeah. So don't do that to yourself. Let the personality come through.
Yeah, no, that is very true. So now what happens because now I've had dogs in the past. I have a cat now, but my previous cat, I wasn't thinking about a cat, but this cat just fell into my lap kind of a thing. So if something like that happens, then what do you recommend that a person does to, handle that situation?
Yeah, it's a good question. And sometimes those situations come up. It's still, I don't want people to act on impulse. Okay. Because you may feel bad, or feel like you want to rescue the animal, and that is a great place for your heart to be. But you still want to make sure that it is a good fit for your family and that it integrates in your household well before you make a lifetime commitment. So obviously in that situation, checking in, making sure nobody's missing their pet. But when you decide to bring in any animal, even if you, again, adopted one or, say a relative passed one on to you or something, you still want to set up a separate area for them and give them some decompression time. Don't just drop them in the middle of your existing animals or family and see how it goes, what people say. Yes, exactly. So setting up your environment so that the animal is less likely to do the behaviors that you don't want and managed. So I think of like an exercise pen, a crate, even using a baby gate to kind of put them in a separate, like a smaller room so they can acclimate to the household. Those are all really important pieces. Even when I foster a dog or if I have somebody's puppy for training, they do not get free reign of my house. And even if they're an adult, I want to make sure I get to know that animal and I really have a lot of control in the situation so that they don't pick up those bad habits. So that's what I would start with.
Yes. Okay. Very good. So now you referred to this about the pandemic. So I saw last week, and it was actually a Today show, but it was over, in England. It was across the pond, but we're having the same issues here. Thankfully, people all over the world were happy to clear out the shelters at the start of the coronavirus, and people were working from home. Okay. So, and some people were fosters and then brought the dogs and kittens back or whatever, but a lot of people fell in love and they wanted to keep these animals, and a lot of them want to keep their pets, but now they're going back to the office. So this dog was home every day, day in, day out, 24/7 with their, mom and dad, and now they're going back to work, and then they come home and find half the sofa eaten. That's not a good thing.
No.
So what do you recommend for the people that are going through this right now?
It is a big challenge, and it is one that I'm hearing about too. So it's definitely real. I think it's important to clarify the symptoms of separation anxiety. It's really a term that we use that covers a bunch of different symptoms. And sometimes what looks like separation anxiety might just be adolescent puppy behavior that shouldn't be out of a crate yet.
Yes, okay.
But you're looking at like basically panicking when you're gone. This can be excessive vocalization. Excessive salivation. So if you come home, your dog was in the crate and they're just wet and they're panting, that could be an indicator that they were really upset while you were gone. Urination, defecation, those things we really don't like. And sometimes people will think the dog did it to spite them, but dogs don't really operate like that. I know some people would argue, but truly, it's a panic mechanism. They're really scared.
Yeah.
If you find things chewed or destroyed, a lot of times I'll hear people say the blinds were wrecked and there was maybe chew marks on the windowsill.
Yeah.
Those are all escape, like they're trying to escape or to find you. So if you're seeing things like that, the best thing you can do is to enlist expert help. Definitely an assessment or consult with a trainer, but even better, a veterinary behaviorist. At minimum, your regular veterinarian, because these dogs are suffering. And you're suffering because you get home and, you know, you're stressed, you feel terrible, but they need some interventions. And a lot of those dogs, I've noticed, also have a hard time with confinement. So that might be an early warning sign too, is your dog really could never handle the crate. You maybe notice they vocalize a lot whenever you leave for short periods. So again, just like everything else I'd tell you, call us early.
Okay. Yeah.
Don't wait until you're at your wit's end, you know.
For you and your animal to.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes, absolutely.
Very good. So before we take a quick break, I'd like for you to share with everyone, for people that get to watch this, they can see your contact information, but please give your phone number, your email, your URL.
Yeah. So my website is goldstarpuppyacademy.com. You can email me at goldstarpuppyacademy@gmail.com. And my phone number is 772-388-7073.
Okay, perfect. And what we're going to do is we're going to take a quick 2-minute break. But Gerry-Anna Jones of Goldstar Puppy Academy and Zeppelin and we have a lot more to discuss when we return. Stay tuned.
Enjoy a complimentary lunch at Vic's Pizza in Sebastian, CJ Cannon's, or Carrabba's Italian Grill in Vero, and learn just how simple cremation can be at Millennium Cremation Service. Don't put your family in a position of having to guess your wishes. Call and make your free lunch reservation. Millennium Cremation Service is locally family-owned and operated with on-site crematorium. 999-5547. Get your house in order and give both you and your family the gift of pre-planning. To make your reservation again, 999-5547. Millennium Cremation Service.
Affordable Water has made great tasting water even more affordable. Right now, get a free reverse osmosis drinking water system with qualifying purchases, or free salt delivery for 6 months. Enjoy clean, pure, crisp tasting water from Affordable Water right away. Call now. Affordable Water.
Call 589-7677 for your H2O. Call the Pure Water Pros. Affordable water.
Blue Dolphin Pools strives to provide quality service with a well-trained staff in the field and in the office. They want you to know that your pool or spa investment means much more to them than just another account. They believe you have entrusted them with your investment, and they'll do their best to see that it stays in top condition. Blue Dolphin Pool has been in business over 35 years, setting them apart from the competition. Residential or commercial, Blue Dolphin will keep you in the swim. 567-5853.
Riverside Theater presents Live in the Loop and the Comedy Zone. Live in the Loop Outdoor Grill and Bar offers outdoor dining with live music plus indoor dining with comedy in the Wax Lax this weekend. Strict CDC and state guidelines will be followed, including reduced public capacity and face mask use. Cleanliness and hygiene safety have been reinforced. Enjoy a thrilling evening with live music, uproarious adult stand-up comedy, and dining at Riverside Theater. For details and to obtain tickets, visit riversidetheater.com.
Welcome back to Treasure Coast Connector. I'm your host, Ellen Contreras. Gerry-Anna Jones, certified dog trainer, professional dog trainer, her company, Goldstar Puppy Academy, and we're going to dive back into this conversation. And so there are a number of different services that you offer. So for people that have been watching and listening, that are thinking, okay, I need to get in touch with you, what is it like? What is the process? How does it all work?
Yeah. So I really like to get to know my clients. So everything starts with a phone consult. Mm-hmm. I want to get to know you. I want to know about your lifestyle, your expectations. All of that's going to play into how we can help your dog and help your dog become the Disney dog you want him to be. Mm-hmm. My Disney dog.
Yeah, he wants to now explore.
Oh, he's going to come check you out now.
Yeah, I don't have any treats. He is just so cute.
Yeah.
But you have the treats.
I do. So yeah, we'll talk. That's also going to help me see which of my program options is going to be a good fit for you. So I do things a little bit differently. My programs are called fusion programs, and it's actually a unique blend of in-person and virtual learning services.
Okay.
So I have found that this really helps people, both of my learners, which the secret is, if everyone hasn't figured it out, it's not just the dogs that are learning, mm-hmm. right? When I'm working with you.
Oh, the people are too.
Yes. So in this manner, we combine these different services, and I find that it sticks so much better. For both parties, right?
Yeah.
So we practice our skills in low distraction settings, then we start meeting up in person. My various program elements include one-on-one, training either mm-hmm. remotely or in person.
Okay.
I also offer sleepaway camp options,
mm-hmm.
which is like a board and train, but it's way better because they're at my house. They're not in a kennel. They're living with me as part of my family while they learn the ropes.
Okay.
And I also offer these group adventures for my clients that are enrolled in my program.
I like the sound of that.
Yeah.
That must be fun for the dogs and for the people.
Exactly. My clients, typically, they come to me because they see that what they want their dog to be. They want a dog that can come with them places. I say adventure dogs.
Like Zeppelin here.
Yeah.
Because
mm-hmm.
you were explaining that Zeppelin understands that you're going to keep him safe.
Exactly.
But when he was younger, he wasn't as tame, right? You were saying because he was 2 years old.
Yes. So when I got Zeppelin, I got him from our local humane society. I worked there at the time. And he was about 2 years old. We didn't know exactly how old he was, but he was very nervous in new situations and always leery of new people. Okay. Over time, I just met him where he was at. It's all about him building that relationship with me, mm-hmm. and he trusts me to keep him safe. He knows that it's going to be fine as long as he's with me. And over the years, I've gradually just introduced him to new situations. Now he goes to nose work trials. Mm-hmm. He can come do something like this. And as you see, he just lays calmly. Yeah. He's a very, very calm dog now. Mm-hmm. And we've worked a lot on that. Part of it, I can't take all the credit. Part of it is who he is. He's always had a calmer nature, mm-hmm. but I've definitely refined it with all of the work we've done together.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And I think that when you have a calm demeanor, because my mom's dog, she was a high-strung dog, but when she came into our home, it took her a little while, but then she realized, and we were both very calm, chill kind of people. Mm-hmm. And, but it was interesting. One time we were scrambling to evacuate for a hurricane. And we're running around with the grab and go stuff. Yeah. And then the poor dog started running around. And then we realized we're stressing her out. We're just going to calm down, And everything was fine at that point. But it is interesting. They pick up mm-hmm. your emotions.
Absolutely.
So, mm-hmm. yeah. Success stories. You want to share any, like a success story or two?
Yeah. So I think of the first dog that comes to mind, a little dog named Luna. And her parents had two boys, like a 7-year-old and 9-year-old. They'd wanted a dog for a long time, but they waited. They really wanted to make sure it was a good time for their family and that their boys were old enough that it wasn't going to be like puppy nipping the toddler. You know what I mean?
Oh, yes. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That's a lot of management there. But they got this dog and they called me actually like the week before, because they really wanted to get something going so that they had a game plan. They wanted to bring her in and have a plan laid out so that the bad habits didn't start. And I started working with them, and we noticed that she was actually very excitable, which is very common with a lot of doodles.
Oh, yes. They are adorable.
Yeah, they're adorable, but they're bouncy and very excitable. And she was actually kind of getting barky towards other dogs on leash, and she was just a little puppy. So we worked on that and gave them some great techniques, started exposing her in a calm way to different situations, and that pretty much extinguished very quickly once she knew what to do instead. And now, they kept working with me even virtually once they went back up north. And I get updates from them all the time now where she's going to the kids' baseball games.
Wow.
Her dad is a big hiker, so he goes and takes her on trails. And I'm hearing that she's actually getting some off-leash privileges now because her recall is just stellar, which, I'm not saying do that unless you've put in a lot of training.
Oh, yeah,
Safety
absolutely.
tips, safety first, guys.
Yeah.
But she's doing great. She's pretty much turned into the adventure dog they were hoping for. But again, this was over months and working, like having a plan, sticking to the plan. I can't take credit for it. I guided them on the way, but they did the work. They made time in their busy schedule to work with that dog.
That's the key, because people might learn things from you and then they think that's it. But they have to put that into practice. So if they're not going to do the work, it doesn't matter how much time you know what I mean? Yeah,
absolutely.
You need to
it's got to be they have
reinforcement.
Exactly. They got to pencil it in. They got to make the time. And I think of too, when you're looking for that kind of dog, it's not a do a couple lessons and go. It's a lifestyle.
Right.
And the dog's going to go through teenager time. And you got to stick to your guns and really refresh some of the skills that you're thinking, what's happening? Why aren't they listening to me anymore? And you just got to stick with it. And having a guide to get you through that is really helpful too.
And that's why you offer check-in services. So it's not necessarily a one and done kind of a situation. So initially, depending on the needs and the program, there's different lengths of time that you're working with people. But then, 6 months later, a year or whatever, however they feel that they need to get in touch with you, then you'll work with them because, like you said, there's the teenage years, senior years.
Yeah, different dogs, different needs. But the reality is I have clients that, they enjoy what we do so much together. They keep going. And I have maintenance programs, you know what I mean? Where it's continuing to keep this dog's skills up to par in public situations. That's what people don't think of is the dog's well behaved in the house, or they can sit in the house, but then they get frustrated when they take them to the vet clinic and the dog won't sit. Yeah. Well, totally. Have you ever taught, it's a totally different stressful situation. We have to prepare them for that. Practice.
Yeah. Well, very good. So now for the second half, I want people, because you know how people on radio might tune in the first half or second half or whatever. So for people that just tuned in, they're leaning forward, their pens and paper are ready. Okay. How do they get in touch with you?
They can call me at 772-388-7073. They can reach me by email at goldstarpuppyacademy@gmail.com or visit my website at goldstarpuppyacademy.com.
Yes, very good. And they have on your website are links to your socials.
Yes.
Which also have a lot of great information.
Yes.
So that's a very
I would
good
love
thing.
it if people would follow my Facebook or Instagram. Tons of good, feel-good stuff in your feed, and also some training tips.
Yeah, well, very good. So we are almost out of time. So I'll just very quickly wrap up with, for business owners out there, if you're trying to get your products and services noticed in the marketplace, there are lots of great ways to do that. And the team of people I work with would love to help you. Websites, video production, lead generation, social media management, advertising. There's a lot of great information on my website, tcconnector.com. Call me directly, 772-925-4557. And I hope that everyone out there has a wonderful, safe, productive week. Until next week, I miss you already.